Let's talk football. Week 10 in the books. 5 walk-offs. We're going to talk Dallas.
Yes.
We're going to talk CJ Stroud.
Oh,
We're going to talk Niners are back. We're going to talk Detroit.
Woo!
We are going to talk about all of it. But let's kick it off with Monday Night Football, ladies.
Yes.
The Bills lose to Russell Wilson. Let's ride.
But how painful was that game to watch?
Okay. Wow.
Who fell asleep?
Me.
You know what? No, I did not. I actually was like, okay.
It was an entertaining game.
It was a
little bit.
It was entertaining. So the Bills win the coin toss and they elect to not defer, which is not normal. They elected to go first because if you guys watched my clip, I said pace would be an important part of this game. So I like the Bills' strategy. They're like, let's score first, let's score fast. Except for when your first play results in a turnover, you basically gave it away.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
yes.
There's stats for a reason, right? There's a reason why most people
Defer.
Educate our new fans about that. About why you usually defer.
There's a coin toss at the beginning of the game, and if you win the coin toss, you either elect to receive the ball in the first half or defer that to the second half. Most teams will like to defer to the second half because you've gotten the shakes out, you've kind of gotten a better idea for what the other team is doing, and you can run a better play. But if you're a team that's really worrying right now about like pace of play and wanting to strike first, you will go first.
It's like, do you want to strike first? Do you want to try to get your team, your offense going? Let's try to score first. Most people will always choose defense, and then you can also pick which way you want to go.
Yes, that's a perfect explanation. Yeah, perfect.
So, but that didn't work out.
Yeah.
No, turnovers killed the Bills. Josh Allen is usually unstoppable at home, but the turnovers killed the Bills.
Dude, I'm sorry, but like every time we go to the pick'ems in our app, right?
Yes.
And I look at the Bills and Bills Broncos, that's like an easy click for me, Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
But the problem is I keep thinking about the Bills of like old. Right?
The Bills that have won how many division titles?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I have to remember that literally Josh is the turnover king.
Yeah.
He is absolutely the turnover king.
Bad.
And he has an arm, great, all that.
Yeah.
But look at this stat. Literally, he has 93 turnovers in 6 seasons. That is the most in the NFL.
That hurts my feelings.
Like, right?
Yes.
And he did it again today. In second half, he had another turnover. It's just the Bills in general had 3 turnovers in 6 possessions, 1 fumble, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, those 2 picks, that's where you really get screwed over.
Yes.
The picks definitely don't help. Russell Wilson actually was there today. I don't know if you guys noticed, Sean Payton didn't wear a visor.
Oh, he heard you.
He wore a hat. He wore a hat.
Someone sent him the podcast.
He kept some of that smarts in there.
I
didn't let it erase and get out of there.
The visors lose.
And then, in the fourth quarter, what I loved is DeMar Hamlin came in.
Yes.
The crowd got pumped. And, Bills fans are like, okay, we needed this energy. We're going to win this game.
Yep.
And then it comes down. Was the sixth game this week to come down to a field goal.
Yes.
And it goes down to the field goal. The first kick goes, yips it. But, there was another penalty.
That was
5.
wild.
Well, it was 5 actually, but
Was it 5? No, this was the 6th.
Oh,
this
on Sunday it was 5.
Yeah,
Sunday was 5.
Sunday was 5.
She loves when she thinks she corrects me. Yeah. But she.
Well, if I don't, somebody else will. So
I'd
rather us correct each other. Believe me.
But no, that was the 6th game that came down to a field goal, and the first kick would have ended the game, but there was a penalty, another dumb mistake.
Well, dude, they had 12 people on the field.
Can't have 12, which gave them 5 yards to go forward.
Got it.
And now the kick was perfect, and the Broncos won the game.
And that sucks.
That was a crazy ending to an otherwise very kind of boring game.
Yeah.
Like, I understood when you were like, I fell asleep. I'm like, yeah, I understand why you would maybe fall asleep.
I literally watched the fourth quarter this morning at 4 a.m.
That was the best part of the game.
I was like, really? It was crazy.
The best for last.
I don't know what's going to happen over there. Like, at what point with Josh Allen, what do you do? How do you not keep what is the honestly, this is crazy, Monica. I'm like, okay, it's time to call in a hypnotherapist. Let's figure out why this guy can't hold on to the ball. Because I don't know that there's any other what else can you do? Like, how else do you just stop somebody, a grown man, who is a good quarterback?
Yes.
I mean, he's one of the, best quarterbacks in the league. Maybe not the top 10 right now, but I mean, he's got the arms, his physicality is amazing. But what is that mindset of why you can't hold on to the ball or why you constantly are throwing interceptions? Like, hypnotherapist time? What do we do?
He needs to call some Kirk Cousins with all his neurotransmitters and all the weird stuff he does, and get some mentoring.
Something.
Call Aaron Rodgers, hit the ayahuasca. I don't know. Something.
Well, we talked about the Bills, but let's give it to the Broncos. I mean, they did pull out the win.
They did.
And I don't know that Russell Wilson will ever look like the Russell Wilson of old back in the Seattle days with the Legion of Boom and Pete Carroll. But he did look better than I've seen.
Yeah.
Right? I remember as a Niner fan watching that rivalry between the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. And he would run around the pocket and you would get like this close to sacking him and he would just elude it. And I would be so irritated. Then you see Pete Carroll chopping out the gum. And there was nothing worse.
No, yeah, I get it.
And I saw a little bit of that spark with Russell yesterday.
Yeah. A little spark of the old Russell.
So, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, I don't know they're gonna do much more than what they did yesterday, but you know
the Broncos have a pretty solid defense with Javonte, and that's what we saw was the defensive win there. So good for them. I don't know what's going to happen to them in the future, but Sean Payton, keep those visors off, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing.
Keep them off.
I think that loss put the Bills in the grave.
Yeah.
I mean, their schedule. No,
absolutely.
Listen to this schedule.
Okay.
They might win 2 games. They might. Okay. Eagles, not going to win. Chiefs, not going to win. Cowboys, probably not going to win. Chargers, Dolphins, but they might.
Hey.
I'm just saying. But then they have got the Jets and the Patriots, and those I would think they might be able to pull out. But their schedule is not easy.
No.
I don't see them making it very far. And by the way, did you guys see the tweet? So you guys know Stephon Diggs. It is having clear issues with Josh Allen. And the Bills. Like literally, it's a thing where he is just not being targeted.
Yeah.
Like here's one of the best wide receivers and he's not being targeted. And I think there was a stat, something crazy like 12 TDs that Josh has thrown, not one of them to Diggs, not one. In fact, it's so pissing off his family that Trayvon, his brother, who plays for the Cowboys, tweeted time for 14 to go.
Wow.
Paraphrasing. I think he said 14 need to get out of there. So he's basically, I mean, that's public. That's like,
yes.
And this is not just a brother who's like working at like Burger King. Right. This is another amazing athlete on another great team saying 14 need to go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a miss. That's a huge
so
miss.
wild
that's
to
not
me.
Okay.
What is going on there?
No, here's what I equate this to. Like, let's say you work for I used to work for the Anaheim Ducks, but like you work for Pepsi, okay? And then there's people in Pepsi that are in the marketing department, they're in this department, and they're this part. The NFL is an organization with a bunch of different teams. Can you imagine me coming to work going, hey, fire Monica over in that department because she fucking sucks? No, dude, shut your mouth. Do not give your opinion on what another team should do. You work for the NFL. Shush.
Yeah.
But in his eyes, he doesn't. You get what I'm saying?
Captain Save a Ho, go save your brother.
But then
get
here's
out of here.
But then here's the thing, like, for me, if I'm an athlete, right, on a stage like that, I have a team meeting after I get, my bag, as they say, right? And I become a Niner, right? I become a Niner. I get all my friends and family and be like, hey, guys, I love you guys, but now everything you guys do is going to be on me.
Bingo.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yes.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Because now you just, but here's also strategy. Maybe he did say, fuck yeah, do it. Sorry, bleep. Maybe he said, go
Yeah.
ahead, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because maybe he just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. And
maybe
better
he
him.
doesn't, and better him than.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but that's going to be a storyline.
Absolutely.
Because you've seen him throw his helmet on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Like, things are not good with Stephon and the Bills.
No.
And I don't know why Josh is not targeting him, but it is clear.
Is it an ego thing? Is there some?
There's drama.
There's drama
There's
behind
some
the
sort of
scenes. We need to get in
drama.
that locker room.
NFL players are just like women. Like,
Leave
it's
a
like
comment.
watching Housewives. It's just like,
And let us
what is
know.
this ego?
I'm going to go down the rabbit hole
Please,
this week.
please.
I'm going to get into
It'll
it.
ruin organizations.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was working with the Lakers, there was a year where like we were supposed to win, but there was some drama between Shannon Brown and Pau Gasol, and then that locker room crumbles.
Oh, yeah.
And a team that's supposed to win a championship now can't do anything.
Yeah.
If you don't have chemistry, you have nothing.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I
So
remember.
heartbreaking.
I won't say names, but I remember when the Niners, there was a woman who was dating someone from the offense and the defense on the
Love
same
it.
team.
love it.
And
Bet you some.
No, and it divided the locker room. I will not
That
say names.
is
but
amazing. Well,
these
really
are things
quick,
that I know.
right before
So-
we sat down, the Bills just fired their offensive coordinator, so we need to bring that up as a
Something
little
to watch.
new tidbit and something to watch. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well,
I got a weird tidbit for you, and maybe one of you can explain to me. How is it that when the Jags came into that game against the 49ers, they had a better record than y'all?
Settle down.
I just want to know
Settle
how.
down. Doesn't even matter. How
In
about
what
that?
world
It doesn't even matter.
Did the Jags have a better
It doesn't
record
even
than the
matter.
Niners?
First of all,
Yeah.
now that we go there,
I opened
if
the
I
forum.
recall, let me see, 34-3. 34-3.
That sounds
We
about
ended
right.
Did you become a Jags fan over
No,
the
I
weekend?
just don't know what's happening.
What just
I feel like
happened?
we've been sleeping on the Jags.
Her Chargers
no,
lost.
her Chargers lost, and now
feelings
she's
are
going to
hurt.
be on Trevor Lawrence's jock? What's happening?
No. My
Never.
question is this: is like the
Okay.
Jags are not a good team. We have not been showcasing them a lot on this podcast.
No.
How did we skip that they had that record?
No,
Like how
because
did
they were
they're
like
6-2.
they were a little quiet, and they
Yeah.
went on a winning streak. So, and Trevor was doing all right.
Yeah.
Man.
Visor
Visor
coach.
Visor
But now let's talk about it. My Niners are back, baby. Brock is back. Trent is back. Debo is back. Steve Wilkes on the sideline. CMC, Kittle. We are all back, baby. And I'm telling you,
yeah.
they must have all met at Kittle's Ranch in Nashville because we look like the 49ers again.
Yes.
We look like the
absolutely.
49ers
You guys
again.
you got the 49ers have the new version of the Bash Brothers.
Here we go.
You got Bosa and you
Chase
got
Young.
And it's almost like this like race to like who's gonna get the quarterback first.
Dude, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I just named all those people, and I still didn't talk about Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Huafunga. I mean, Brian Ayuk,
Yeah.
Juice. I mean,
Wasn't it just so fun to watch? It was
Dude.
one of those games you just, I mean, if you're a Niners
if
fan,
you're a Niner
anyways,
fan,
it
yeah.
was so fun to watch. You just
I
got
did
to
not
sit
fall
there-
asleep
no.
on that game. I did not.
But
I did
Wow.
not.
One
Don't
thing
give me
didn't
a
happen in that game.
Yeah.
I
CMC.
Yeah.
Lost his record.
Yes, his record for touchdowns has come to an end, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen.
Yeah,
It
he
was a
tied.
good run.
But I
He
liked
had-
his reaction to it. How
Well, he had, let's explain what that is, right? So he had 17 games. And 17 touchdowns. He had a touchdown
Amazing.
every single game, which is he tied the record. And I was so bummed he didn't get the 18. You saw what he said, right?
Yes.
After the press
I
conference,
just like how
they
he
gave
made-
it to him like 3 times at the end.
Yeah.
But the problem,
and that was cool too.
Well, but I think our second string was in, but Jag's first string was still in.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah, that was,
he didn't get in, and we wanted to give him. I wanted to see him take
I know.
Take
Pick the
18,
title. Yeah.
but
Just be
he
the
didn't.
I know. But he made light of himself. He was super lighthearted with it, which is just nice to see in a game that can be full of egos, like we just said. He just made light of it and was just like, I suck. Like, just making
Like,
light.
I suck. Everybody else scored.
Yeah,
Kittle scored.
Yeah.
Juice scored.
Which obviously is not true. It's such a lighthearted way to make something that
He's a
could have.
very humble player. I love him a lot.
Yeah.
Did you hear Kittle's post game when they were like, your touchdown was a little, and he's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't walk into it anymore, but hey, at least I didn't drop it.
Exactly. But I will tell you this, as a Niner fan, I was like, oh, oh, please don't do that, because you just never know.
I know. It's
You
terrifying.
just never
It's
know. And I was
terrifying.
like, do not like hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
I know this is like random, but I just remember when Prince was at the 2007 halftime show,
Yeah.
and he was literally singing Purple Rain, and it was raining. And he had those high heels on. And the whole time I'm like, oh my God, please don't fall.
Yes.
And I had that same little moment when Kittle did his little run in, because there have been drops.
Yeah.
Like they've dropped the ball.
Yeah, or a player comes out of nowhere
Or out of nowhere, it just,
Yeah.
can we just hold
Yeah.
on to the ball
I
all the
know.
way to the end
just
zone?
keep running. Keep
I love
running.
you, Kittle, but you scared a few of us. You scared a few of us. But let's talk about the defense, because meeting at the quarterback.
I love that. You put that in the
I'll
stories.
be back real soon. What? It was amazing. Chase Young, Nick Bosa, meet at the quarterback, just like old times, and I couldn't be happier.
It's like
Did you like
watching
my song
Friends.
choice?
I loved your song choice. Yeah, it was like
Thank
watching
you.
Friends. It was like watching like just bros play in the backyard and play ball. Like, the way they were so casual, the way they were just, it was easy for them. The way they executed and just could look at each other and read it was beautiful.
It's crazy what a bye week will do for you.
Yeah.
Like a bye week for some of our newer fans, that means you get the week off, right? You get time to, every team gets a bye week at some time throughout the season. You get time to just rest. You get time to, if you're hurt, you get time to get healthy. All of our guys were back. And I'm like, seriously, when you see them coming out of the tunnel and Trent Williams is leading,
Yeah.
and Deebo Samuel, and this is the team that, if everybody stays healthy,
Hold on.
is definitely going to be in the conversation of Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And it's just crazy, because if you go back to our podcast, right?
Yeah.
After loss 1, I was like, I'm not concerned. Second loss, I was like, okay, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Third loss, I was pissed. Remember? And like, if we were to like put that in a
It's
little
like
reel.
stages of grief,
Yeah.
denial,
Yeah, right.
sadness, anger.
Exactly. And then today I'm like, yes, we're back. I knew it all along. We'd be fine. But
Yeah,
no,
you're
like,
back.
seriously, thank God. And don't forget, we came out of that podcast. I'm like, trade line, deadline. I'm like, I better come out of that podcast and we better have a new player on the team, right? Remember?
Yep.
And I thought maybe a cornerback, but it had to be a defensive. And I was so happy. Literally driving home.
Yeah. That was
We had
one of
Chase
3.
Young.
That was one of 3 calls you made that podcast.
Oh,
that
I was on
all
fire.
we were like, okay.
Right? I called Chase Young. I can't remember the other thing.
Was it a firing? Was it
Josh
Yeah?
McDaniels is going to be the first coach to go,
Oh, I can't remember the other one.
but I was on fire.
You were.
Well, I
girl.
was kind of on fire too with this game, because somebody asked me on our page, how many sacks do you think the Niners are going to have? And I said minimum 3, but I meant, like, I remember going, but I think we're going to have 5. So
Monica every week either says, I picked this team, but what I really meant to pick was this. I said 3 sacks, but I really
it's on my
7.
page.
Like,
It's on my page. I was literally like, because I forgot we had Chase Young. I'm like, oh, we're going to get 5. But it's only like, to me. But I said 3 on record.
Yes.
I said minimum 3. But in my mind, I'm like, I think we're going to get 5. No, I'll tell you when I screw up. I screw up a lot.
no, it's not a screw up.
No,
It's
I
just
screw
adorable.
up a lot. But not yesterday.
Nope.
Not yesterday. Let's talk about a few more things with this. Here was the third one.
Oh.
Wilkes on the field.
That was it. That was
My
literally
defensive coach is on the field. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you,
Look at
Kyle.
that- look at that
Everybody
small
call
change.
for it. You know, I just think you have to feel your players.
Yeah.
You have to be there. You don't have to do anything. But I feel as a former athlete,
Yes.
I always like to have my coaches on the field. Well, I was never good enough to have a coach like somewhere else.
You weren't
know
a
what I
D1
mean?
athlete?
Yeah,
You
I
weren't
was
a
not
D1
a D1 athlete, but I was at McPherson 7th grade. Whatever. That's not the point. That's not the point. Shout out to Orange County. The point is, I feel that I get it. They can see the field more when they're high up.
Yes.
Okay, but I always go back to Robert Saleh when he was the Niners defensive coach, and I just loved his energy when the guys came off the field, and you could just like.
You always
Pump
say
'em
that.
up.
Energy.
And then we had D'Amico Ryans do
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
By the way, we'll get into that in a minute. But both of my guys are now gone and head coaches somewhere else. But I'm just happy to see Wilkes back. And by the way, let's just go over some stats. Brock is back. 19 of 26, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 INTs. So the Jags had 4. Oh, your new team, the Jags.
I never said
had
that.
4 turnovers.
Never said that.
Yeah. You know that's
Nope.
going to go on forever, right? Yeah. Her new team is going to go on forever. But
I don't even like their colors.
Let's move on to another team. But first, I do want to say the Niners. Here's their schedule.
Okay.
Bucks.
Okay.
Seahawks twice. Divisional games.
Okay.
Cardinals, Ravens, Commanders, Rams. I see wins.
Yes.
But the big game circled on my calendar since day one, December 3rd, Eagles in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
That's
Big
going to
game.
be a good game.
Huge
I will
game.
not fall asleep on that game.
Huge
I
game.
promise you. And yeah, we're going to have to do something. We should watch that game together somewhere.
No, I'm good. I don't.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't want.
You'll be sad about the
I don't
Jags.
want to do that.
Let's talk
About the
Antonio.
Raiders.
Yes, the Raiders are
Yo.
2-0 with Mr.
Pierce.
himself.
It's amazing. These
let's
changes.
Mr. 1964 Impala from
Ooh.
LBC is in the house.
neighbor.
And they are my neighbor.
Your
Exactly.
neighbor.
They are 2-0 and sparking up cigars like nobody's
Like they're
business.
sponsored.
You know-
I'm like, did they get sponsored?
Yeah, no,
by
clearly.
Nobody's business.
But what I really like about it is that like so many of the players have come out. Devontae Adams came out and said, there's an energy in this locker room that we have not felt since the beginning of this season.
yeah.
The Raider way is now being more represented here.
Yes.
You had, goodness, bad haircut.
Josh
Mark
Mc-
Davis.
he has a new haircut.
Still bad. Mark Davis came out and said, I'm not, people have asked him like, are you going to let him keep his job?
Yeah.
And Mark was like, oh, it's his to lose.
Yeah.
I know he never played for the Raiders, but he embodies what we want to preach.
Yeah.
And then Jacobs, who by the way, came into that game with the most carries any running back has had in the NFL, just not the yards,
Right.
said for the first time he feels respected. And that to me,
Huge.
when you feel respected as a player by your coach, you're going to run through a brick wall for that guy.
Yep.
Wow.
And I can't believe I'm saying this.
Uh-oh.
But I respect
Wait.
whatever Raider way is being produced right now.
Wow.
I said it. I said it.
And she's a Jags fan?
This
Enough.
is wild.
What
This
did
is
she drink over the weekend?
Not enough.
what's in that cup over there.
For a Charger fan
But-
to say that, that's big.
Those are big words.
I'm
I
going to
know.
bring it back 1 second.
Oh, okay.
But then the Raiders do what the Raiders do, you guys. What happens? Your mustachioed quarterback, O'Connell, he throws a pick.
Aiden
I'm sorry. What's his name?
O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell throws a pick, and just showing his lack of experience, Pierce throws a red flag. Well, you didn't need to do that because every turnover is already reviewed. But because you threw a challenge flag out, you cost yourself a timeout. That is a stupid mistake, which they hurt in the end.
But they still won.
I get that they still won.
They still won. They don't care. They're smoking cigars with or without that.
And Aaron saying he's coming back mid-December?
I mean,
Mid-December.
but why?
That's in what? 3
But
weeks?
Why?
A week?
Why would you? I go back to this.
Why?
Why?
Because
Why
they think
come
they're going to
back?
make a playoff push.
They're not. Sorry, New York. By the way, I mean, Zach. Remember, again, I reserve the right to change my mind
yeah,
every
anytime
week.
you want.
Anytime I want.
Anytime you
I'm a
want.
woman, and I reserve that right. Zach was horrible.
Oh.
Yeah, not a great game.
We will get to meme of the week later, but
We're gonna get to
he
that.
is
I mean,
He
he
just-
wasn't the worst quarterback,
I
though.
mean, wait. Zach had 23 of 39, 263 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Woo!
But even those stats don't give it justice of what I saw.
Yeah.
It just looked bad.
Yes.
And I was pulling for little Zach.
Yeah, you were.
Remember, I was like not on the Zach, and then I'm like,
Little
maybe he'll do
Zach.
better.
You were like
and
his ego. He's
his
really working on
ego.
himself,
We're-
you know?
Right. You're not sleeping with, your mom's best friend
Yes,
anymore.
Making good moral
What?
judgments.
He was what?
Oh, that's like old news, girl. That was like last season.
Ew.
No, she's hot.
It's
that's
your mom's best friend,
who
Zachy
knows?
boy.
Like I can't get into that. But
Poor
here's
New
the
York.
thing.
New York can't catch a break with a quarterback.
Well-
they got little DeVito over there, Wilson. You
Little
know,
Danny.
And we don't know what's going to go down with the Jets. I don't know if Aaron's going to come back. All I know is
guys.
Robert Saleh's beard was just
beautiful.
it looked painted in. Like
Do you
it
think
looked
he uses
perfect.
just for men?
He's a just for menner.
Is he?
Is he?
I think
He looks
went
like it.
deeper with his
He's
color
sponsored
this
by
week.
that shit, I bet.
I think. I mean, we should ask Diana.
Robert
Professional.
Saleh's
I
a
feel
big.
like they were a
Wait,
little
did we go back
deeper
to
with hair
the
color.
the hottest coach in the NFL right now? That's
Oh.
currently.
Oh,
I
we
said
can go
Robert
back
Saleh.
there.
Did you change your mind?
No, I still go with McVay. But,
Really?
But Saleh's
You know
cute
what?
too. I like bald dudes sometimes.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
You
I don't
look
know.
a
I
bald
just
dude.
okay. I'm still with. Did you like
I'll-
Pete
I'll-
Carroll? Was that your?
I'll- Not Pete Carroll.
The Golden
What?
Bachelor. The Golden Bachelor.
Stop it
No?
with his bubble
Okay.
gum. Willy Wonka with his bubble gum sticking
Listen, let's
out.
make a quick
Okay,
turn.
quick turn.
And
Let's
let's
go.
talk about
Retaking
what
What cost me
Why
$34
did-
this morning?
why did Sanaz spend over $34? Why do I have a nice
No.
grande latte?
Ooh, it was so tasty.
Everybody on the team got a nice coffee, and why was that, Sanaz?
To be clear, the bet was just between Melissa and I,
It was.
but I am petty.
I
Tom Petty.
Yeah.
So I offered everyone.
And I told
Okay.
you no, but
No.
you,
She did
No,
tell her
I
no.
did. I'm like, don't worry about it. Just get Melissa.
Well, we made
No.
a little bet.
You're sweet.
We made a little bet.
And what
the Chargers fell short
Yeah.
due to a field goal. Another field goal.
Yep.
Yes. They
But-
held their own.
But
that game.
look, that game was going to be a toss-up. I'm going to bet with my heart when it's something as silly as Starbucks.
Of course, as you should.
But I'm going to let you start this one off for me.
I expected more from my Lions. I did. I would never have sat here and told you it was going to be down to a field goal. Like I thought they were going to come. Their offense is amazing, and their defense just didn't show up for work that day. I just don't know what happened with the defense the entire game, which
I mean,
is why
38 points.
which is why
Your
no
offense ran for
allowed-
200 yards and threw for over 300 yards.
Like,
Think about
where
that.
were they?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I was very angry. Like every time I'm just like, it was just like a game of hot potato. Like whoever it was offense. There was no defense.
That's the kind of game where you're like, whoever gets the ball last
Yes.
is gonna win.
And that's exactly
that's-
how it ended up.
That's what's gonna happen.
And so it was a win, but it felt like a dirty win. Like it
I
felt
mean-
like we didn't even play good enough to win that.
I
like
think in that
you
game,
know?
there was a lot of offense to go around. Okay, like offenses were there. We knew the Chargers' defense isn't their strong point right now. I mean, Herbert threw for like 323
Yes,
yards.
he-
He had like what, 4 touchdowns, 1
yes.
pick.
Like the-
but you know,
I
for
lost on
me-
my pick'ems.
That's okay. But for me, I think Detroit's going to have a real test week 17.
yeah,
They take on the Cowboys week 17.
Absolutely.
But this game, you should have won by a little bit more.
Yes.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you ladies this. We talk about coaches a lot. After that, I mean, your coach is still hanging around.
Yeah, Brendan Staley, I don't know.
What do you
Listen, I
think?
don't like him at all. You're asking the wrong person. I don't like him at all. I don't understand him at all. The Chargers make a lot of weird decisions. Like if you notice in the fourth quarter, Herbert was just calling out of the huddle. Like he was just calling,
Yeah.
like, you know, you're just running up and calling that you're trying to keep the game moving. You know what I
Right,
mean? I
right.
got that a little bit and I like that aggressiveness, but
Mhm.
like Staley just makes weird decisions. He keeps calling defensive plays. I don't know why you believe you can call defensive plays, whatever.
Yes.
There must be something we don't know.
Right.
But I think he's the big issue here. Do I think he'll be
Yeah.
here next year? I don't know.
I think if they don't make the playoffs, I don't think there's a chance that he's going to be sticking around.
I mean, speaking of walk-offs, I mean, you talked about it earlier, but like Sunday was 5 walk-off field goals. I don't know. That might be the most in the NFL. I don't remember that
Barn
stat, but I am
burners.
telling you, we had
Incredible.
Arizona and believe it or not,
Arizona.
my pick'ems. I think I lost most of these with these walkouts. By the way, I was like, I was
Right.
doing so good,
No,
but then Arizona came through. I did not think Kyler Murray would come back and get a win. I really didn't. Seattle walk off, Browns walk off, Detroit walk off, Texans, which I definitely want to get back
Yes.
to or talk about. All these teams won. Hey, it was a kicker Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Good for them. Because
Yeah.
we don't ever
Punt
talk about
parties.
kickers,
Yeah,
right?
special teams gets no love.
They get no love.
Mm-mm.
And, you know, the life of a kicker, I would like to have a kicker on our
That
podcast.
would be very
Because
interesting.
I think the kickers probably are the most mentally strong, probably player on football teams. Because just think about it. They go like the whole game, you know, get called in. I don't
During
know.
these high intensity moments, and they have to perform, and all eyes are on them.
Right.
And if they fuck up, the whole stadium boos them. You know, and
Yeah.
it's just
There's
like
no-
them,
Yeah.
not like a play. It's them
And there's
as
no
a person.
middle ground, right?
No.
For a kicker. It's
No.
you either won or you lost.
Yes, you're good or you're shit. It's
Yeah.
like that. There's no like. There's not like, oh, I had a bad. No one
Yeah.
gives you grace when you're a kicker.
Yeah.
It's not fair. I have a friend who's a kicker, played for the Minnesota Vikings. His name's Blair Walsh. I'd love to get him on here.
Yes.
We'll ask him if he wants to go on here.
Yes.
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Like, running backs have 50 opportunities to screw up or do well.
Yes.
A kicker's
Yeah.
got 4?
Yes.
That's not right.
I know.
Yeah, I you know, Kyler Murray's back. Seeing him run, dude.
I don't-
It's
I
the
don't-
weirdest. It's.
I wish I could have you imitate it.
We'll have to do it outside.
Please.
I don't
his
think
little
he's-
legs, but he's so
But
fast.
his helmet.
It's just crazy. But he pulled out the win.
I don't
Good
think
for
he's
them.
here next year.
But here's, I am shocked that because had I been on that decision, he wouldn't be playing for me.
Yeah.
I know how you feel
get
about
that.
him.
I don't like players that are not. And listen, I don't know him. I only hear things. I'm not in the locker room, so there's my disclaimer. But from what I hear, I don't like. I don't
Yeah.
like that you don't study.
And you hear a lot.
I don't, and I hear things.
Mhm.
People,
You know a lot of
I
people.
have some friends behind the scenes, and I don't like egos.
Yeah.
I like confidence. There's a difference.
Absolutely.
Egos, confidence.
Yeah.
Two different things. And I don't
Yeah.
like when you don't study, but you expect everybody else to come up to your level.
part.
Like, I just,
That part.
not my thing. I wouldn't have let him come in. I would have just said, you know what? Why don't you sit the whole year out and think about it? I would have been one. I'm not a mom, but I've been like, and think about it.
You
You
think
know
of
I
what
mean?
you've
And
done.
you think about what you've done. But here's who we don't have to think much
Okay.
about
Tell us.
what he's done, because CJ Stroud
Oh,
is representing
I feel like a proud
Rancho?
mama. I feel like a proud mama right now.
Cucamonga.
Like,
He
who
is
would have
now
thought?
splattered across every sports
Way to put us on the map. No one
TV
could
show,
point out on a map where
podcast.
Rancho Cucamonga is, but thanks to CJ Stroud, they now may be able to. Okay,
He is
the
now
909.
officially in the MVP conversation.
As he should be. As he should be. He is projected. We're looking at over 5,000 yards by the end of the season, 30 touchdowns, and at least 4 interceptions. Like, it's crazy that those are real numbers. I feel like this is like a Madden thing. Like,
You know what I like about him is that they reported he's been texting his team like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Texting him like after watching film, like
Yeah.
plays he's caught, mistakes he's caught, and contacting people on an individual level. And that says a lot, right?
It does.
Especially when you could group text this and be like, you know.
or say
but
the coach will figure that
no,
out.
and
Yeah.
he's texting his teammates going, this is what I watch, this is what I see, let's improve. He's taking it seriously. I like it.
What else can you ask for? If that was your quarterback, I mean, what more do you want from him with what he has to work with?
I mean, he's had 826 yards in just the last 2 games.
right.
Like
Like we are only on, we
wow.
are halfway through. I mean, a little
15
more, but-
TDs, 2 interceptions. And this was before, I think, Sunday. 3 games with 350 pass yards. I mean, he's killing it.
But-
And what I love about that is that the Panthers are probably going, damn,
Yes.
we got the wrong one. Damn,
Yes.
we got the wrong
Yeah.
one, because
Yes.
CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, really good friends. I don't know if they're best friends. I think pretty tight.
Yeah.
Were both available. Panthers had the first pick, and they chose Bryce Young over
Yeah.
CJ Stroud. Now, that's a whole nother thing about the draft, about quarterbacks, because it really is hit or miss. I mean,
And the
there
quarterback test. We talked about it a little bit last week. But
I mean, as a team, as an owner, I honestly, I'm so crazy. Like, if I was an owner, I'd be like, you know what? Give me a quarter, and let's just flip it. Tails for this one, and heads, and then be done with it, because
yeah.
it really is like almost a 50-50 if you get the right guy for your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
that crazy.
I don't think we should be hating on Bryce Young too bad. I think as quarterbacks go, he's done the right thing. I think he doesn't have the support around him, which is making it tougher.
That's fair.
You know,
That's fair.
CJ Stroud doesn't have a lot of big names, but he's got some mediocre guys that he's saying, give me these mediocre guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the burner on and we're going to do something about it. And
Right.
wasn't this the second game where he pretty much came in and saved you guys and got you guys another touchdown?
Absolutely.
Well, and how pissed would you be if you were Bryce Young and you went to the Panthers and then you just let go of CMC? Like, wait a minute.
That's
wait a
not what I
minute.
signed up for. That's not what I signed up for.
Excuse me. What's happening right
Terms
now?
and conditions, please.
Right. But, hey, listen, it's hard to go that when you get drafted number 1, you're going to a shitty team.
Yeah.
Like, let's just
For
call
sure.
it what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the NFL. You get a chance to rebuild a team. You're one of the, proven to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in college.
Yeah.
So then they to make it even, they put you to the lower teams,
Right.
But CJ Stroud, I mean, I always hated the Texans for personal reasons because we won't get into it, but
I kind of want to hear this story. Wait.
well, I didn't like what they took my D'Amico Ryans. I get hurt.
Okay.
I get hurt about these things. And then you try to interview him last year during the playoffs. That pissed me off. But now we have a new rule because, I called Roger Goodell and
Of
I'm
course.
like, listen, we cannot do that. You
Right.
cannot reach out to my defensive coach during the playoff. It is not fair.
No, and that's not the headspace you need them in. Thank you.
Exactly. So I'm glad Roger listened to me, and
Yeah.
now you can't do that. But here's, dude, listen to the Texans lineup. Are you guys ready for this? Because the Texans are here, people. They are here. They play Cardinals, Jags, Broncos, Jets, Titans twice, Browns, and Colts. You know what I see?
Wins.
I see wins. I see a 5-14
Wow.
with wins. Like literally could take the division. Like that's crazy. So
Did not see that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I would have never sat here and said, "Oh, the Texans."
Yeah,
No.
and
a few weeks ago.
and a side note, his personal, story with his dad who's been in prison for I think he's 38 years he was sentenced for some pretty egregious carjacking, kidnapping, robbery, stuff like that. And I can't imagine what it would be like to have these kind of games and your dad not be in the stands.
Yeah, not one college
Regardless
game,
of
not
what,
one NFL game.
So and he's a man of faith, CJ Stroud. I really
Yes.
like him. And by the way, if we had Who Kept It Sexy this week,
Oh, him.
he would be my pick.
CJ Stroud's my sexy
Ooh,
pick of the
right?
I
week.
love that. Yes.
Is that
Yeah, my
your-
sexy pick of the week.
That's mine too.
Yeah.
Is it unanimous?
I mean, I think he's pretty sexy, but I also was going to put Dan Campbell as my.
but I mean, keep
Not
it sexy.
hot.
Not hot.
No, I mean,
keep it, did like
You got a sexy
like
week.
our most valuable player.
Oh, player for sure.
Yeah.
Player for
like
sure.
our most
Absolutely.
valuable. We'll call it the keep it sexy.
Yeah.
Who kept it sexy?
Ooh,
Besides my Niners,
Well,
I will say CJ Stroud.
And then we had our last game in Germany this week.
Ooh, yes.
Colts
Were you
Pats.
up at the crack of dawn?
I was
I don't know how you
up.
do these 12-hour days.
I actually woke up and watched it.
What did you think?
Wow.
Wait, Sanaz?
yeah.
She texted me at 6:30 in the morning. I was like, Sanaz,
Nightmare, man.
are you okay? Did you not go to sleep last night?
Here's what I
I
think.
was like,
Gardner Minshew, wow. Someone's really comfortable out of the pocket. Good for you, buddy. I liked what I saw. And then you look on the other side of things and you got Mac Jones getting benched in the fourth quarter to bring out, I'm sorry, Bailey Zappi?
yeah.
Zappe?
Stop
And you're
it
putting
right.
this guy in with a 2-minute drill and saying, hey, Bailey, make something work. Come on, Belichick.
Then you do a fake
Thank you.
spike. That was
A
odd.
fake Belichick, he has been there since 2000.
I think
That's
he's
23
senile.
years.
I think he's
okay?
senile. Get
This
him out.
season is the worst season he's had since he started. Here's what I think. They're not going to fire him this year. They're going to let him run the season out, but then I think they're going to use him as trade bait. Because don't look at him and think another team doesn't want to pick this guy up.
Okay.
They do. He's been with the team 23 years.
I see where you're going
Okay,
with
but-
this, and I
but-
like it.
One of the other things I might get right.
Yes.
Remember what I said? I said they're not, in my opinion,
Right.
you can't fire Bill Belichick.
No.
Oh, right.
you
right,
can't.
Right.
But
Make it
you
think
can
it's his
behind
idea.
the scenes, you're gonna have a nice little conversation
Right.
over some whiskey and a
Yes.
cigar,
Yes.
whatever that looks
Mhm.
like.
Yes.
And you're gonna mutually agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
To
in the
move
best
on.
interest of everybody.
Right.
And you just say
As
that.
I just can't imagine he's gonna be there.
He
next
doesn't
year.
want to be there.
But in Mac Jones's defense,
Oh, gosh.
he's had 3 offensive coordinators in 2 seasons?
Yeah.
I feel sorry for that.
I
And
know.
when I saw his press conference, my heart hurt.
I know. I was like,
he cried, yeah?
Well, they
It was-
asked him, "Do you think?" First of all, some of these
No, the reporters
journalists-
are out of
I
control.
mean, you would know
Dude.
more
As
than
someone
anyone.
who used to do sideline and someone who used to do reporting, y'all need to tighten these questions up. Don't be messy and don't evoke that kind of a reaction
It's
out of
not
someone.
nice.
It's
Thank
not
you.
good.
It's not
You're
cool.
not getting anything out
Yeah.
of this.
And the
Thank you.
question was, do you think Bill Belichick still believes in you? Basically, and I'm like,
like
who? Like,
knife to the heart. Like,
see,
what do
here's the
you
thing.
want from
See,
him?
if I was Mac Jones' sister, I would find that journal. This is why. This is why I don't do anything.
she's
And I
a
have friends
Scorpio.
that will,
If you can't
I'm
tell,
a
she's a Scorpio. She's very fiery.
But I am loyal though.
You are.
I am
know.
loyal,
Yeah.
true to my friends and
You
family
are.
and my people and my FIS squad,
Yes,
my
you are.
FIS family.
You've been there.
But like, I would be so mad as a mom. That's why I get when some of these moms tweet out their shit, like
Yeah.
defending their sons. I get it.
Yes.
You know
But
what
it-
though, Monica? Don't worry about it because whoever asked that question, don't think he's going to forget it and don't think the media analyst is
Right.
going to forget it. They're going to ignore that person for the rest
Right.
of the year.
But you know
Yeah.
what?
They're done.
Here's what I will give it to him.
Yes.
Mac Jones handled himself very well, and he basically, I mean, he didn't cry, but
No.
I could feel his emotion. and
choking
he,
it,
He,
like,
he basically was like, I don't know, but it really hurt my heart that question was even put. Like, it's a no-win answer.
Did you see he went over after he was taken out and shook like everyone's hand on the sideline?
See,
Like,
I love that. I love that.
But to me, that was his way of saying,
might not be here.
I might not be here again.
Absolutely.
This was a pleasure.
Yes. I hope we meet on a
And
field
then,
again soon.
Yeah, I just think with Belichick, like, I don't even think he wants to be there anymore.
No.
You know, but let's go out in a good way, finish your season, and then be done with it.
But here's what I love about
done with it.
sports and in particular in the NFL, right? Every season, every game, you get a chance to do something different,
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
So, I mean, we can look, everybody was giving up on Brock Purdy
Mhm.
three games ago.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
The Lions have been a mess for like 20 years.
Dude, Dak Prescott. Let's talk about the Cowboys, by the way.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, they own New York. They own the Jets. They own the Giants.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys, whether you like it or not, they beat the Giants 49-17. And Dak did his thing. But more than that, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is on
Yeah.
fire.
I mean, he was
Yeah.
a huge help this week.
First player to get 3 games, 10 catches, over 150 yards.
Bravo.
CeeDee Lamb
Bravo.
is
That's
no joke.
Amazing.
And Dak had his 10th 400 passing games.
Oh, Dak.
So,
Oh, Dak.
and I look, Sanaz could care less.
Her eyes
No,
just
I
glaze
care
over.
because you know the thing about that game was it was so lopsided. Like the Cowboys
Yeah.
had a total of 640 yards, and New York had like 172.
Yeah.
Like New York had 16 first downs, I think, and the Cowboys had 32. It was such a lopsided game. DeVito, I mean, like, what's happening? And then they're cutting to his dad, who doesn't have a seat, by the way, who's just standing in the standing only section, waving his arms because he's the world wrestling arm champion. Whatever. Was that DeVito's dad?
Oh my
No,
God.
that's
Whose dad is that?
That's the Bears.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Correct me on that one. But like, what
Bears
happened
quarterback.
in this game? CeeDee Lamb, yeah, you know, I mean, he helps out all the time, but I don't think he didn't have a touchdown, did he?
Who?
CeeDee Lamb?
I don't know. I'd
I
have to
don't think he
double
did.
check.
Can we check, Diana?
I think he did.
I
I don't have it on my stat, but well, he got his touches, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But my boy, Micah. Micah Parsons. Didn't I tell him to zip it several times?
Yes. You
And here's the
absolutely
thing,
have.
I like Micah. I do. I don't know him, by the way. Disclaimer. But you know how I feel about talking after the game,
Yes.
like on podcast and that.
On
if I was a
Twitter,
coach,
X, whatever you want to
Twitter,
call it.
zip it, right?
Yeah.
If I was a coach, I'd be like,
That's part of your contract. Just don't do it.
You're just gonna, and like he just said something after the win where he's not happy because he didn't get his, tackles or whatever. And I'm like, bro,
It's all about you, huh?
yeah, like be a team player. You guys
Right.
won.
Right.
Dak's finally getting his flowers,
Right.
and now you're gonna like kind of shit on it.
Those egos.
You
Those
know what I
NFL
You
egos.
gotta get rid of that egos. But hey, the Cowboys won their 12th straight game at home. So another thing to remember on our pick'ems,
Oh,
they win at home.
That's good.
You know what I mean? But
I was wrong. CeeDee Lamb had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I thought
I was wrong.
Thank you.
I'm
Thanks,
wrong about a lot
Diana.
of things. I was
Hey,
wrong.
Hey,
I'm not wrong about this.
there's
DeVito,
30
DeVito lives at home with his mom and dad.
There you go.
That-
That was the right one.
That made me laugh.
Quote, why would I leave? There's everything I want here, is what he said.
Well, I'm wondering if he's single. I don't know.
I bet he is.
I don't know. Speaking of single, who's not single?
Who?
Travis Kelce.
Oh,
Travis Kelce. We can't end this podcast without talking about Travis Kelce.
we've lost Sanas. She's gone. She's passed out.
We're changing song lyrics now, guys.
No,
We're
but-
changing song lyrics now.
I mean, no. The reason why we're going to talk about this for 1 second is because he's on a bye. The Chiefs didn't play,
right,
and he's now in Argentina.
And he teased this on his podcast. He needed to go somewhere sunny and warm and get a tan.
Well, there's that viral clip that went out
Oh
of
Lord,
her coming off, Taylor Swift coming
Yes.
off the stage, running into his arms.
waving at her fans first. Like
Hugging.
everyone watched this.
yes,
Kissing.
yes.
Everyone
It
watched
was
what
like
I'm
a
about to
homecoming
do.
queen, like a little homecoming queen, homecoming king moment.
Why don't you tell us the lyrics that were changed?
Oh, it was
Karma.
yes, it was in the song Karma. And instead of saying he's a guy, what did you usually say?
Doesn't matter.
She changed it to it's a guy on the Chiefs. That was the replaced lyric. And
Karma is a guy on the Chiefs who calls me when he's done. It's like something like that.
Yeah.
coming home to me.
Coming home to me.
Yeah.
And
And
then
he heard it.
And his reaction
while
to
she was standing with his daddy,
Yeah.
who was wearing a Kansas City Chief lanyard.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
But he
bought
was
it,
like
man.
he was like a little schoolgirl. His reaction to her
Like, he was all happy.
saying that
If they get married, do
throws
you guys
his
want to
hand-
have a party like for the royal wedding and like just sit like we should sell tickets?
Absolutely.
And,
Me and Monica's sister. I'll put that together with her. We'll sell some
All
tickets.
I know is this. I'm gonna say this out loud. She's gonna have a heart attack. I watched. So sometimes I just need to like turn my football brain off.
Yeah.
And I'll turn on Netflix.
Yeah.
And my sister is a diehard Swiftie.
Yes.
And I am a songwriter, as you guys know. And
Yes.
I love Taylor Swift as a songwriter, but I wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie. But I love all genres. People know I was on Soul Train, like my R&B,
You
Prince,
love
whatever.
music. Yeah.
All that to say, I'm like, you know what? My sister said you gotta watch
The Netflix special.
The Netflix.
Did you finally
I
watch it?
watched it.
Monica.
I did,
You didn't
and
text me
now
after this.
I'm gonna come out.
Tell
I'm
me.
gonna come out, and I'm gonna say,
the
you know
one
what?
with Antonoff when they're like in the cabin in the woods and they're on the piano, like actually putting the lyrics together.
I just love her, and I love her songwriting. So
Yeah.
I am now.
the new appreciation for that.
Yes, when I really
aspect.
saw the things that she did and her spirit, and I just think what she's done in her career is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, do I want to see her on every NFL?
That's fair.
You know, cut to commercial.
That's fair.
Probably
That's fair.
not.
Yeah.
But as a songwriter, I think she's amazing.
She had
Sorry,
an
Sanaz.
amazing-
no,
week.
listen, I
And you know what?
respect her. I do. I like her stance on things. I like that she's strong. What I don't like is that I don't care about your girls' night out with Mrs. Mahomes.
That's
I do not care.
That's fair. That's fair. But she doesn't post the pictures. It's the media outlets.
You
Like,
know what?
she's
Have
not
a
on her
sleepover.
Instagram.
Don't go out. Order in DoorDash. I do it every weekend.
my
But you know what's happening.
You guys,
we know.
she had a big week though. She was nominated for 6 Grammy Awards. So she's got new love. Grammys.
Well, here's the thing. Bringing it back to football. If the Chiefs lose,
it's her fault.
it's going to be Kelsey went to Argentina. And he's not focused.
It's Taylor's
So we're
fault.
going to keep our eye on it. And before we wrap up, we just have to give some love out to, because believe it or not, I believe the Browns beat another walk-off Ravens. So
Yeah, that was a weird one.
we'll keep our eye on Lamar, because we were talking about him being an MVP, and now
As
I
a
think
Niner fan, don't you
CJ
feel a little bit better though? That like
Well, remember though, Deshaun Watson, who none of us really love, walked off in a boot.
it's true.
So we don't know.
Lots of
is
stuff.
true.
You know, that was a fluke game for the Ravens. The Ravens, though, are kind of like the Eagles. I feel like they can't finish in the end. They can do everything to get there, but then if the game is too close, they panic. Like Eagles and the Ravens have to tighten up. All you got to do is keep improving. We love an improvement. Just keep going.
It's so weird. I will tell you that when everybody was talking about how great the Ravens are, I'm like, and then I go watch the game the next week, and I'm like, I think I am bad for the Ravens to watch, because every time I watch it, they lose.
You are.
Like literally. And I'm
Please
like,
stop.
and every time I watch it, I'm like, what are these guys talking about? He is not an MVP candidate. I am sorry.
Yeah.
But CJ Stroud, let's see if he can pull some more wins together. He might be. By the way, the last time a rookie won MVP was in 1957 with Jim Brown. So
wow.
we will keep our eye on that. And as always, keep it sexy.